Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we have got Build Your Own Renbanmometers for you by Memeristor, a colourful puzzle that is supposed to be quite approachable and has an almost perfect rating on Logic Masters Germany. So this should be fun. And in fact, I'm going to start today by wishing one of our viewers from the Netherlands, Henk, a very happy 19th birthday. And Henk, I believe that you are really into colour puzzles, so this should be right up your street. Now, I will tell you, I was about to turn on the webcam to record this and realised, let me show you the version I had on the screen at the time. I had this version on the screen, which has no letters on it at all. But I realised I couldn't see the difference between these four colours. And these are apparently different colours. I called Mark and said, look, am I meant to be able to tell the difference between these colours? He said, well, can't you see the difference? I was like, no. And he said, apparently, I can't even remember what he said. I think he said those are more purpley than these. So this is the pink and purple dichotomy, with which apparently I am cursed. I have literally no idea. These, to me, those four cells look identical. And if I was to, if you put a gun to my head and said, which is the more purple, I would say this one. And that might be wrong. I don't know. But anyway, thankfully, there is a different version here where it's all revealed. I've got different colours, or I've got letters at least. So I can now see that that is certainly different to whatever I had in the middle box before. And this will hopefully help me to solve the puzzle. Anyway, what do I need to tell you about? I've done Henk's birthday. I've talked about my useless eyes. Over on Patreon, I want to read out more names of successful solvers of the 12 Labours of Hercules Sudoku hunt, and also give you a little bit of a heads up for what's coming at the start of December. But very well done to Christian Eggink, Thomas Ruslin, Ben Needham, Kieran Fung, Jordan Asio, Slightly Simpler Simon, here comes Maverick, taken off, Branford MD, Stephen Syker, I think, it could be Seeker, but I think Syker looks better, Hamish Watt, Hugh Perkett, Stanley Gorlick, Andrew Montiglione, Mike Lovell, Valentin Noyes, and Valentin, thank you very much for your kind email. That really made us feel good. And also Arachnothera. All of you sent in the correct solution. Very well done. The solution videos are all up now, so if you were baffled by any of the puzzles, you should be able to find that if you're a $3 patron or above. And now let me show you what's coming at the start of December. The Cryptic Scriptures of the Secret Snake Society. And there's I love this. It's all about basically the distinguished serpent and some of the puzzles that Serpent discovered, and the translation by the team of puzzle historians. And you can see some of the puzzle historians involved in creating this pack. We've got Dad Jokes, Jay Dyer, Mr. Menace, Piotr V, Round Planer, Rockrat Zero, Zegrez. You've got Dying Flutchman overseeing it all, and some great testers and proofreading as well. It really is. This is a stunner. And more will be revealed in due course, but this is what we've got coming up on Patreon at the start of December, which I also hope might even have a little bit of a Christmas bonus in the form of Fistimavel's Sudoku hunt. So it's good times to be enjoying variant Sudoku. Now, let me read you the rules of Build Your Own Renbanmometers. Thank you, Memeristor, for that tongue twister. The rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Along Renbanmometers, digits must increase from the bulb end and form a non-repeating consecutive sequence. Now, I think that is a very complicated way of, let me explain what I think that means. Let's imagine that the B joined to the other B like this. Now, we're being told that the digits increase from the bulb end. So this is going to be the lowest digit on our Renbanmometer. But overall, the digits on here have to be a consecutive sequence. Now, given that we've got to increase as we move along the thermometer, I think this is what this is saying is if this was a 1, this would be a 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6 pattern. Because if it wasn't that, well, let's try and put a 7 at the end and now consider whether this is a consecutive sequence. Well, it's clearly not. And given that, so we've got to go up basically in steps of 1, but we're still faced with the challenge of working out how the Renbanmometers, how they work. The Renbanmometers in this puzzle are all hidden. Only their bulbs and tips are given. Bulbs are larger circles while tips are smaller circles, and corresponding tips and bulbs share the same colour, brackets and letter in my version. Renbanmometers can move diagonally or orthogonally. Okay, so the diagonal the existence of being able to draw in diagonal lines means this doesn't work quite like NumberLink. There is an absolutely wonderful Japanese logic problem called NumberLink. Nickly used to make, well, they probably still do make them, but they used to be on the Nickly website in the competition, the online competition puzzle form that I used to solve every day with great joy until, was it Flash broke or something? Yeah, NumberLink was my absolute favourite puzzle. And I thought this was going to work like NumberLink, but apparently we can have diagonal connections, which means that we can't. Can move diagonally or orthogonally, but Renbanmometers cannot ever cross, and different Renbanmometers cannot share a cell. Right, so we can't cross our Renbanmometers. So we can't do things like this, or I guess have different Renbanmometers crossing each other. And we can't, well, okay, and that's confirmed by the fact that different Renbanmometers can't share a cell, so we can't do that and then join the A up. How do I do this? Like that, for example, because these would clearly share a cell in that position. And if I read the rules correctly, that is not allowed. So we mustn't do that. And instead we must obey the rules of the puzzle if we want to get it right. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. We get a given digit today in the form of an 8, and now I get to play Let's Get Cracking. And I am going to start by, I'm trying to work out what's going on in this middle box. It looks like I have got problems here actually in the middle box. I've got to make sure. Well, the first thing I'm seeing actually is related to the B clues and the E clues. I think what this is saying is that the E clue has to come to this cell, because if I grey is E, isn't it? If the E clue doesn't come to this cell, but it has to connect to this cell, how are we going to do that if it doesn't come to this cell? And the answer seems to be that we have to go up and loop around this yellow tip of the B. But if I do that, how on earth am I going to get the B to connect to this B without cutting the grey Renbanmometer of E-ness? Isn't this? It's just not possible, is it? If I connect these up, it doesn't matter what sort of circuitous route I go on. You can now see it's impossible to get B over here without going through either another bulb or crossing a Renbanmometer or something. So that doesn't work. So that's got to be correct. Right. But now I seem to have do I have a problem with F now? So F, oh, and C. Ah! This is all getting very cluttered. Hang on a minute. Have I done this wrong? E? E's going to join to E. Then F can't go downwards. Oh, actually, no, maybe it can. Oh, no, it can't. It can't get out. If F goes downwards now, it's got nowhere to go. So that doesn't work. That's total nonsense. So F has to go upwards. But where does F go if it goes upwards? It has to, whoa, it's got to go there. But now C has to get to here. without cutting across F. Oh, hang on. But could C go this way? No. No, it can't actually, because it's going to isolate this I. If we connect C, even if I try and do it like that, you can see this I is getting penned in. And you could say, but the I can get out. And you'd be right, I suppose, in a way. We could make an enormous journey for our I, but that must be more than 9 cells. That's about 100 cells. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. It's more than 9. And we can't, because we have to increase as we move along each Renbanmometer, we can never have more than a 9-cell Renbanmometer in the puzzle. So let me just think. I'm just going to mull this over for a moment. I mean, it looks to me very much like that has to do that. And now this F is getting tricky, isn't it? Because it mustn't cut whatever we... So if we join C up directly, I can see that F can now go round the corner. Look, it could do something like that, and it could join like that, or it could go and wend its way around. But I think it's got to do that. I can't see another way of connecting C to C and still allowing a... Oh, hang on. No, maybe I'm wrong. What about that? No, because we can't get the F out. The F can't cross this boundary even with a diagonal line. That's nonsense. So yeah, so C has to join to itself directly. Now that gives us some digits actually, because remember we've got to go up in steps of 1 along Renbanmometers. So that's the low end. That's the high end. So the F now has got to go up here, up here. Now if it keeps going, it's going to isolate the A from this. These A's have to connect directly, don't they? So we mustn't impede upon that ability. And again, you could say, the A's could ring the grid. Yeah, that's probably true. I haven't worked that out, but I can see that any drawing of A that rings all of these middle digits is going to be more than 9 cells. So I don't believe that's possible. So I think we can broadly do this. But now the thing that worries me is the size of this cell, which cannot be an 8 or a 9, but is on quite a lengthy thermometer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, okay, that's lovely. So this is forced, because this cell is the tip of the thermo. It cannot be 9 and 8, so the maximum we can make it is 7. Let's step back along the thermo, keeping the thermo as efficient as we can, and we end up with 1. So if we were to deviate here, this would become a 0 or a negative number, and that won't work. So there we go. We've done something. We've done the orange. We've done the red Renbanmometers, and we can therefore... Well, now we know the values for E, don't we? Because the only digits we're choosing E from are 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. But this has to be at least 2 lower than this. Well, in the sense that there has to be 2 intervening digits, because to travel from here to here, the least cells we could put on it would be those 2. So that must be 3, that must be 6, that must be 5, that must be 4. There we go. We've filled in our E Renbanmometer without any trouble at all. This is a 4 in the corner. There's a 4 in one of those cells. Oh, that shifted the D across. That was weird. Hang on. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what that pencil mark means. Okay. So where are we looking now? We've got, if that's a 4, 5, 6, 5, no, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we couldn't have a 6 there. Oh, okay. Hang on. If that's a 4, if this is a 4, where do we put the 6 on that would have to exist on this line? That is the question that I'm wrestling with here. Now you could say it could be up here, but But I don't think that's realistic. It can't go up there and ever get out, because once this A connects to this A, that's going to effectively form a wall. I don't think this can be a 4, because I don't see how I can put 6 on its Renbanmometer. So I'm going to claim that this is a 4, which means one of these 3 is a 4. Goodness only knows what this is now. Well, let's put the options in. 1, 5, 7 or 9. No, not 5 by Sudoku. It's not 9 because it's in a bulb and it's got to attach to this. It's not. It's a 1. Okay, that's forced to be a 1. It can't be a 7, because if it was a 7, it's 8, 9, that's going to be a 10. That's not going to work, not even in Memeristor's Renbanmometer land. Okay, so these squares are now 5s, 7s and 9s. That is the, okay, that's the tip of the B Renbanmometer. And that therefore is allowed to be a high number. Okay, so D. Oh, okay, so but how does I get to I without cutting off D? Surely it's got to go through this 4. Yeah, that's forced, isn't it? How do I get this I to connect here? Now, if we don't go through here, hang on, let me see it. Yeah, I can draw that. If I do that, you can see however I do it, whatever circuitous route I take, there's now no way to connect 2 greens together without a big problem. So we must go through, well, I was going to say we must go through here, and that's true, but I don't know whether we go like that, or even like that, providing I leave room for the D to get round the edge. But I do know that I comes through here. And if I comes through this cell, it must go there. Ah, no. All right, okay. I think all of that is probably true. But this is the bulb. And that's a 4 on the Renbanmometer. So that must be a 1. Because that's going to take at least, well, even if I go very directly, which I actually can't. I can't go 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's a 2 in this column preventing that. So that must be a 1. And then there must be a 2 in one of those cells, and that must be a 3. And that means there's a 1 in one of the bulbs up here, which is not surprising. Oh, I like that. Flicking the pencil marks over. Okay, can this be a 1? That's going to require me to put... Well, I don't think that can be a 1, because the next digit on the Renbanmometer is going to be a 2. And that 2 seems very, very, very problematic in that regard. I can't go over here, because I've got to get back over here, and there's no way to do that once I've disappeared up there, because I'm going to run into pink. So that's not a 1. Now that means... Oh, I see. And then this is a 1, and because it can go this way and needs to go this way, it doesn't get troubled by the naughty 2 in column 5. So that must be a 2, and that presumably is going to be a 3. Well, yes, okay. Perhaps the question is, what if this is not a 3? Well, then that's a 3, but then I can't put the next digit on the Renbanmometer, because the 4 and the 5 are impossible, because they've already been hypothecated to the orange Renbanmometer. So that's a 3. Oh, I've just remembered something I forgot to tell you. We're streaming tonight. I'm such a wally. Yeah, we're streaming tonight, 10 o'clock UK time. We'd love to have your company. We're streaming ourselves solving Sudoku for once. We're not playing games tonight. We're looking at the Sudoku Skunkworks puzzles where I'm faced with the task of guessing the setter. So it's going to be a lot of fun for other people, probably laughing at me. But there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm looking forward to it. So 10 o'clock UK time if you fancy watching a bit of streaming. Right, now what do we do next? We could... I'm wondering about the options for this circle. Because, I mean, simply Sudoku is ruling out a lot. I think this probably has to be a 2, but let's have a think about that and see if we can formalise that logic. So 2, 5, 6 or 9 are the options. Now, it can't be 9 because it's got to get here, and that's going to be much bigger than 9 if we make the bulb a 9. Now, if this is 5, the next digit on the Renbanmometer is a 6, and that's 6 scuppers that. So it's 2 or 5. And if it's 2, oh no, it's not 2. Okay, sorry, it's not 2 because where can I put the 3? And that 3 is very, very difficult. So that is 5. Oh, hang on. Well, that's impossible. Hang on, what on earth am I... How on earth am I going to make this work? Have I just removed the wrong digit there? I think I have, because 6 looks like it might work. 6, I can put 7 in that column. Hang on, I'm now very confused. That's definitely not 9. I then removed 6 when I think I meant to remove 5. Okay. It can't be 2 because we can't put 3 on it. And we can, I think it can be 6 because 7 appears to be possible in these cells. Now, if that was the 7, we couldn't get here by the time we reach 9. Well, yeah, we're going to be going 7, 8, 9, aren't we? So this is now 9. We must put... Well, that must be 8. There's no way of connecting this to this unless that's 8. But the 7 is ambiguous. We've got 2 possible positions for... Oh, no, it's not. We've got 1, but just by the power of Sudoku, which, of course, I tend to ignore. So that's 7. And we can do a yellow line, boom, 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 and a beautiful Renbanmometer of yellowiness. Now we can put 2 by Sudoku here. We need 4, 5, oh, we need 9 here. Oh, this is done. That whole box is done by Sudoku. So that digit's known. That's an 8. Wow. Okay. So these digits are now, let's have a check of this. We've got to put 2, 5 and 9 in there, I think. Now that's green, so that's not 2. So 5 or 9 only here. But if that's 5, where do I put the 4? Ah! No, no, I can't do it. That's weird then. So that's a 1-9 Renbanmometer. Because if that's a 5... The next digit, I've got to be able to put a 4 in one of these cells. And that 4's not allowed because that's on the blue Renbanmometer. Ooh, look, I can actually extend my blue Renbanmometer now because I've got to put a 2 on it. And that cell is not allowed to be a 2. So that's a 2. Therefore, that's an... Oh, hang on. Well, we're still... Oh, hang on. Maybe that's not true. Oh. No, okay. I was just thinking, I can't really rely on anything here because I've made this digit. Well, no, it's fair enough. That digit is 5 or 9, isn't it? It's definitely not 2. So it is very reasonable for me to say, where does the 2 go on this line? It must be here. Okay, that's not interfered with by the fact that I was explaining what this digit was. So, okay, so we can bluify... Oh, no, we can bluify this Renbanmometer. We now need a 5. We need a 5 for the next digit here. Which could be the end of the Renbanmometer, actually. This digit is restricted in terms of its size because it's got to be greater than 4, which means it could be 5, but it can't be 6, 7 or 9, so it's 5 or 8. Now if it's 8, I need to put... Oh, that could be 7, look. Although, hang on. Let me think about this. I'm not totally sure I know, especially as this one I think has to be 9 and weave around. Okay, let's come back to this one. I'm getting myself sidetracked here. If this was 5, where does the 4 go on the Renbanmometer that would have to exist connecting these together? It can't go there by Sudoku. It doesn't seem to be able to go here by the power of this 4, so there's nowhere for it to go. So that is 9. That's 5. Now I need to put 8 on this without crossing a Renbanmometer. Ah, that's beautiful. Right, that's really useful because that's going to correct this one. The 8 that must connect to this 9 is in one of those 3 cells. In fact, it's not in that one. So it's in one of those 2 cells. And that's going to see this cell. So that must be a 5. which corrects and connects that Renbanmometer look. So what on earth does this mean? Well, okay, so this green line now is going to have a 2 in one of those positions. And where does this one get its 4 from? Can that be its 4? I don't think it can. I don't think it can without crossing itself. So we could do something like, you know, that to pick up a 4 with these being a 2 and a 3 somehow. It might not work. Maybe it has to be more. I'm just like drawing that shape. You know that? Oh, you know the shape, that shape, which you can draw without taking your pen off the paper. That's felt like what I was doing then. But if we try and do something like that, you can see that the 4 then needs a 5 and it can't get one. So this 4 is not green. So the only 4 that's available to green is going to be this 4. And that I think is making this a 4, because the only way I can get to this cell, which is the 4 is in one of those 3. If it's down here, I can't get there because I've got to step up along the Renbanmometer. Oh, I see, but that doesn't tell me which of these is the 2. Oh, well, so I can say that's the 4, and one of those is the 3. But I actually, because I can, you know, I can pootle around and do strange diagonal movements, I don't think I know much more than that. The 5, ooh, 5. Ah, ooh. Okay, so the 5 that's going to attach to the 4 is now in one of those 2 cells. What about the 6 that must come after the 5? Well, it's not there, but that's not surprising because the 5's over here. I'm not sure. Okay, so I know that this is on the green line. The 5 is over here. 2 and the 3 are up here. I don't know. Maybe Sudoku. Let's have a look at some Sudoku quickly. 1, 3, 8, and 9 in this column. So that's not 1. That's not 8. That's not 9 or 3, and that is not 1. But I know I need an 8. Don't I, to connect to this 9. So that can't be an 8 down there. So this is just 3 or 9 now. Okay. And then, so one of these is an 8, but then I need to attach that to a 7. So if that's the 8, well, if either of those is the 8, can that be the 7? 1, 2, 3, 4. Not without crossing ourselves, I don't think. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would work, but I've just crossed paths, which I don't think we're allowed to do. Yeah, I'm not sure that's right. Let me just see if I can see anything simpler than that quickly. 4, 6, 7 here. That's not 4. Is there some other Renbanmometer that we can avail ourselves of that's just going to deal with this very cunningly? I suspect not, actually. It feels like... Oh, Sudoku. There's a 1-9 pair here. That might help us. So what are these squares? 6. Oh, 6 and 8, but I don't know anything about 6s and 8s down here. 1-9 here. Does that do something for us? The answer is I don't think so. There's now a 9 in one of those cells for what's that's worth. 1 is in one of these 2 cells. I'm going to pencil mark that and hope. Right, so I think the question that we're left with is it possible for this to be the 8, that connects to this 9? And I'm going to claim no. Let's try this out and see if we can do it. And the reason I think this is immediately problematic is that the only place I can get the 7 now, if I do this, the only place the 7 can come from is exactly there. And you can see that now that to connect my 1, 2, 3, 4 combination, we're doing something like this. And the way that this 7 gets its 6 now, given it's getting a 5 from down here, it's going to have to cross the line. So, there's no way it can get a 6 from this box. It has to go down and cross itself. So that's not going to be legal. So I think what that means, and this might matter because I can see it's doing something, is the place that this 9 gets its 8 from is here. And that displaced a 1, so this is now a 1-8 pair. This is now not 8. This 8 needs to grab a 7 from somewhere. Now we're going to get the same problem. If we start wandering off up here, we then have to get the 6 from here and thereby cross what we've done to connect the 1 and the 4. It's clever, isn't it? So that's got to be 7, which means that's 7. So the 3 is now in one of those two. That's not a 7 anymore. Let's start to build out our green line. The 6 and the 5 have to connect together, and then the 5. It still feels like it might be slightly ambiguous as to which way round I've got to do this. One of these is 2. One of these is 3. This is probably obvious, is it? Is it obvious? 9, okay, 9 in this box is restricted. It's in one of 2 places. So 9 in this box is in one of... 9 can't be in a... Oh, look, 9 in box 9 is placed because it can't be in a bulb and it can't be in this column by Sudoku. So that's a 9. There's a 9 in one of those 2 cells. What else can we say then? We know there's a 5 in one of these. Maybe we check this row because we've got 5 digits in it. 3s, 4s, 5s and 6s. Let's see what that reveals. 3s, 4s, 5s and 6s. That can't be 4. That one we don't know. That one is in a bulb and connects to this tip, which can't be 8 or 9. Ooh, hang on, that can't be 6 then. Because 6 to connect to this is going to get to at least 8. So that's 3, 4 or 5 now. And this, 3, 4, this is 5, 6 or 7. Let's have a think about that. That can't be 4, I've just seen from this 4 up here. 5, 6 or 7. So, how do we do that? I don't know. I do know what those digits are. They are 3, 4 and 7. Let's put that in. These digits are something else. That's not 4. I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure I want to start because I know so little about what's going on in these columns. This feels a bit silly to focus up here. Let me see if I can see something better. 1 is in one of those cells in box 6. It can't go in the tip. 6 is in one of those cells. Oh, there's a right, hang on, Sudoku. 6s and 3s are in those 2 squares. So these squares are known. They are 1, 2 and 8. Can that be 8? Oh, it's a tip, so yes it can be. It can't be 1 because it's a tip. So that's a 2 or an 8. So if that's a 2, that has to be a 1. That might break something. Or not. Okay, what are these 2 digits then? They're 2 and 8. So these 2 squares are 3 and 9. Aha, so where does 3 go in this box? It's an interesting question. It seems to have to go there. So that becomes 9. That becomes 9 by Sudoku. So we've now got a 2-8 pair left. And that digit is 2 or 6 only. And has this told us the order of the... No, it still hasn't. That could be the 6, that could be the 5, that could be the 4. So I still don't quite know how this line works. Oh, but the 3 and the 4, the 3 has to connect to the 4, which may... Oh, that's beautiful. That's really clever. Because this is the 3, and I need to connect it to here, it needs that to be the 2. So that sort of unwinds our pattern of 8s at the top. And by Sudoku makes this, therefore, a 6. Right, let's carry on with my green line then. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4... And we've got to put 5 and 6 down here. Oh, the 6 is here now. Wow. So the 6 drops down. The 5 must be there. And we get a sort of reversal of Italy in the bottom left-hand corner of the grid. So that's 5. That's not 5. That's not 5. That feels like it's constrained now, but I can't see quite how. So let's come back over here where we can place... Oh, and that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. That's lovely. And then we can go... what can we do now? We've got 4s. 5s maybe. Oh, I've got loads of 5s in the grid. Although, actually, that doesn't look very helpful. I'm sorry, I was hopeful for a moment, and I don't know that it is helpful. 3s, 4s, 5s. What about 6s? No. 7s, no. 8s, maybe. No. 9s. Already known. Okay. So we've got to figure out something in this bottom right-hand corner, I think. And the thing we're going to think about is we're going to think about how this connects to this. So if this goes downwards, no, this doesn't go downwards because it must. If it went downwards, it would need to have a 5 on it, wouldn't it? And the 5 is living up there in this box. If I go down, if this is a 4, obviously I need a 5 and it's going to have to be above. If this is a 3 and I go down, I can't get to a 5. So this goes upwards and it doesn't overlap with this. So it must go there. That's a tiny deduction. I don't know whether it then has to just close or whether it can wibble around, but it definitely goes up. And it needs, well, there must be a 5, right, there must be a 5 on the line, even if it's here. So that is not a 5, which is perhaps not very surprising. So if this is 3, oh, hang on, that can't be 4. Right, okay, that's it. That can't be 3, because that cannot be 4. So that must be 4, and that must be 5. And now this is probably 6. That's 5. That's 7. Does that mean we've got 4 5s looking at box 3? It does. So that's 5. This row needs 1, 8 and 9. I'm going to put that in and hope that that does something. That can't be 9. And it doesn't. Bobbins. That's not 5 now. Oh, so I've got a 6, 7 pair here. So now I can put 1 in this box. So this is going to be a 1, 2, isn't it? What else could it be? Well, if it's not a 1, then a 2. That would have to be a 2. Oh, no, it's not possible. You can't get all the way to 8 because there's no availability of a 4 on the path. So it must just go 1, 2. Which means that we get a 1, 8 pair here. We get a 1, 8 pair in this column. That's not able to be 1 anymore. Still doesn't resolve this row. That can't be 4 anymore. Ah, so that's the 4 in the top row. And now, okay, so where does this get its 6 from? And the only place it's got it available is there. So that's going to do that. 6, 7. Now this becomes 3, that becomes 3, that becomes 7, that becomes 3, that becomes 6. That's a 6 by Sudoku, so that's a 4. We need 2, 7 and 8 at the bottom, so that was a 7 in the corner. There's another 3 in the corner there. We could have had another song for that. That's a 2, 8 pair. So now 8s, look, have to be in these cells, which means 8 is exactly there, 9 is exactly there, that's 1, that's 1, that's 9. This is a 2, 6 pair, which we can do. That's a 2, 8 pair, that's an 8, and that's a 1, and that's a dick. Isn't that lovely? That's a very, very cool puzzle, actually. It's interesting. It has got number link elements to it, which is unsurprising. But the availability of the diagonal connection really well, it makes it more intricate. And it's quite surprising how much damage is done by the sort of the 7, 8, 9, and then the connection of the orange line around it up here. I think there was probably a more elegant way to find Italy, or the parallel world Italy, in the bottom left-hand corner. And perhaps with a bit more practice with these, you could simply almost state, oh, of course this can't go up because the line would cross itself. But it took me a while to sort of get my head around exactly how that would move. I've just realised I've not connected my 5 to my 6. So that was a slightly incomplete puzzle. But I very much enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Let me know in the comments how you got on, and hope to see you later for streaming. Yeah. We'll be back then, of course, with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Bye for now.